Portugal. Just a few years ago, it was Europe's best-kept secret, a place where life felt slower, the sun shined almost all year, and the dream of living in Europe suddenly felt affordable. People didn't just visit Portugal, they moved there. Remote workers, retirees, students, families, everyone seemed to be chasing the same dream. But then, the world discovered Portugal, and when millions of people started chasing the same dream, that dream began to change. Today, Portugal is one of the most desirable countries to move to, yet it's also one of the countries where many newcomers say, "I wish I had known this before moving." So, what happened? How did one of Europe's most affordable destinations become one of its biggest relocation debates? And is Portugal still worth moving to in 2026? This is the reality behind the dream. For decades, Portugal quietly sat in the shadow of Europe's biggest destinations. People talked about France, Italy, Spain, but Portugal remained a hidden gem. Then everything changed. Social media showed the world colorful streets in Lisbon, the famous yellow trams, the beaches of the Algarve, the cafes, the sunsets, and suddenly, millions of people wanted the same lifestyle. Remote work made it possible. Instead of living where their office was, people could live where they wanted. Portugal seemed like the perfect answer: safe, beautiful, relaxed, and, compared to many Western European countries, more affordable. It wasn't just tourists arriving anymore. It was entrepreneurs, digital nomads, retirees, investors, and families looking for a completely new life. Portugal had become one of the world's most desirable relocation destinations. But there was one problem. The country wasn't prepared for what came next. At first, more people moving to Portugal looked like a success story. New businesses opened, tourism grew, investment poured into the country. The economy benefited in many ways. But there was another side to the story. Demand for housing began to rise faster than new homes could be built. Apartments that were once within reach for many people became harder to find. In cities like Lisbon and Porto, competition for housing intensified. Rent prices climbed, property values increased, and for many local residents, staying in the neighborhoods they had always called home became increasingly difficult. Then newcomers faced the same reality. They arrived expecting the Portugal they had seen online, only to discover a housing market that was far more competitive than they imagined. The dream hadn't disappeared, but it had become far more expensive. And that raises the most important question of all: if housing is changing this quickly, what does it actually cost to live in Portugal today? For most people, moving to a new country isn't decided by the weather. It's decided by one thing: money. And in Portugal, your biggest monthly expense will almost always be housing. Whether you rent a small apartment or a larger place for your family, housing will likely consume the biggest part of your budget. Then come the everyday expenses: electricity, water, internet, groceries, transportation, healthcare. One bill doesn't seem like much, but together, they tell a very different story. And that's where many relocation plans begin to fall apart, because people often compare Portugal's prices without comparing Portugal's salaries. If you're earning a remote income from another country, Portugal may still feel affordable, but if you're depending on a local salary, your financial reality could be completely different. Suddenly, the question isn't, "Can I move to Portugal?" It's, "Can I actually afford to stay?" After everything we've uncovered, one question remains: is Portugal still worth moving to? The answer depends on the life you're planning to build. If you have a stable remote income, or you've saved enough to handle the rising cost of living, Portugal can still be an incredible place to call home. You'll enjoy a mild climate, rich history, beautiful coastlines, walkable cities, and a lifestyle that millions of people still dream about. But if you're moving because you believe Portugal is still the cheap European paradise it was once known for, you may be disappointed. The country hasn't become a bad place to live. It's simply become more competitive, more expensive, and far less forgiving for people who arrive without a plan. The biggest mistake isn't moving to Portugal. The biggest mistake is moving based on social media instead of reality, because the difference between loving Portugal and regretting the move often comes down to one thing: preparation. Portugal is still one of Europe's most beautiful countries. That hasn't changed. The coastline is still breathtaking. The history is still alive in every street. The food, the culture, and the slower pace of life continue to attract people from all over the world. But one thing has changed. Portugal is no longer a hidden secret. And when the world discovers a place this special, that place changes forever. So, if Portugal is on your list, don't let social media make the decision for you. Do the research, understand the costs, build a realistic budget, and make sure you're moving to the Portugal that exists today, not the Portugal that existed years ago, because the best relocation decisions aren't made with emotions. They're made with information. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Expat Travel. Every week, we investigate the real cost of living, hidden challenges, and everyday realities of relocating around the world. Until next time, travel smarter, move wiser,